Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 303 of How About That Cigar Live. Thanks so much for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble.
And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thanks so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. As always, join us in the comments. Let us know what you're smoking. Let us know what you're drinking. We have a fantastic special guest coming on in just a couple minutes. But to my left, you probably recognize this fine gentleman, Dax Ballinger, our friend from Cigars and Baseball, pinch hitting, no pun intended, as co-host this evening on How About That Cigar Live. So Dax, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. I'm grateful to be here. This is great. Filling in for a really great guy. So
yeah, Raul's on vacation, off with his family on a cruise ship, and enjoying the sun, enjoying the ocean, and all that good stuff. So, Raleigh, if you're out there, we love you, brother. Hope everything is going well on your trip. And of course, got to bring in our incredible, illustrious, amazing producer, Justy Smoke.
Justy.
Dun dun dun.
What's going on, guys?
You know what? Just good things.
Good.
Just off of a win from the Legacy Cup.
Yeah.
How about that?
Got the second place at the Legacy Cup a couple weeks ago for the Living Soil Home Growers competition for anybody that's in the cannabis out there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
man.
congrats,
That's awesome.
brother.
Second year in a row. See if we can get first place next year.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Keep it up, brother. Stacking up those awards. And yeah, hopefully next year, just keep pushing. Go home with gold, brother. Go home with gold.
Yeah.
So the Vikings won in London, correct?
They did. It was an early game, though. 8 a.m. I was at the bar with some friends having cinnamon rolls and coffee.
Nothing wrong with that.
That was great. It was great.
So because Raul couldn't be here, but he's a Jets fan. I'm sorry, Raul, that you're a Jets fan, because your Jets are still winless on the season. And I'm even more sorry that you're a Yankees fan, because they are getting trounced by Toronto in this series so far.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, they're outscored like 23-8 or something. I don't know. They're getting, Toronto is just playing out of their minds, just like they were to close out the season.
Yeah, they are playing really well. So is the Brewers, though, man. They're such a good team right now.
Yeah.
And I'm from Milwaukee. So.
Brewers and Toronto are just out of their minds. Seattle tied up the isn't it Seattle and Detroit?
Yep.
Yeah, Seattle tied it up one apiece, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I already mentioned the Jets are winless. Packers didn't play this week; they were on a bye,
so we don't get to make fun of you.
Yeah, you can't make.
But
I mean, you can still make fun.
One
of
thing
Packers.
we get to say is that we did beat the Browns.
The Vikings did beat the Browns, and the Packers most definitely did not.
Yeah. But the Gophers, if we want to talk about a little bit of college,
yeah, absolutely.
The Gophers got spanked by Ohio State.
I mean, I looked at the score when it was 3-0 Minnesota, and I was like, wait a minute, the Gophers scored,
and it was on their first possession downfield.
First possession, and the rest was it was like, oh, those 3 points, that would be all they would have.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty ugly game for the Gophers, but it's Ohio State. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And fortunately for the Minnesota Wild, Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov, I think it was an 8-year extension.
Yeah, big money for hockey.
$163 million or something like that. Insanely huge contract extension for Kirill. So hopefully they can, turn that into something?
I mean, I think out of all the players we've franchised, he's the guy. He is the
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gustafson, our goalie, also signed an extension. So, and he's been honestly doing really well. So I hope that the Wild can turn that into something this year. So normally right now we would go through Spirit of Mystery. I am still going to do the ad read because they're our sponsor and we love them. But we're not doing a Spirit of Mystery tonight, and we'll explain that in just a couple minutes when our special guest comes on. But Spirit of Mystery brought to us by our friends at Postania Cigars. Do you find yourself unsatisfied with the top 10 list from How About That Cigar? Are you wondering how cigars from Postania didn't make the HBTC list, but found their way onto other lists? Well, fortunately, you can be reminded every week with this Postania Cigars advertisement. Postania Cigars, the #1 unranked cigar in the industry. So, yeah, again, no special Spirit of Mystery right now. But without further ado, I think we definitely have to bring on our special guest of the evening. And special guests on How About That Cigar are brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And Drew Estate just unveiled the latest chapter, the Nika Rustica Shade. Shade is the third Rustica expression, joining the original broadleaf and Adobe. Nika Rustica Shade spotlights an Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Mexican binder leaf, and balanced blend of Nicaraguan, American, and Dominican fillers. Available in 4.5 by 50 short Robusto, 6 by 50 Toro, and a 5 by 66 Gordo. The Nika Rustica Shade is available now. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please put your hands together and welcome to episode 303. Jonathan Carney. Brother, welcome back to the show.
I'm back. You know, the fun thing, there's several fun things here. First of all, what the hell is the Nika Rustica Adobe? And pardon my ignorance.
It's so the original Nika Rustica is the super duper dark broadleaf wrapper
With
the
like the yellow band on it, right? The yellow
with
and
the
red.
yellow band. Yeah, the
Okay.
Adobe is, it's got like a
bluish band,
light blue, medium blue
Okay.
band.
Gotcha.
And I believe
I've seen it.
I think that's Ecuadorian Habano on the wrapper leaf, and then this new one is the Connecticut shade.
Yeah, I was reading that ad. The ad read on. I'm sitting there. I'm like, how have I missed this? You're right. It's the blue. It's the blue. Also, second, I live in Orlando, so it's always fun to see local advertisements for Corona and Pastania. These guys are all in my backyard. It was like the first time I went back home after moving to Orlando, back to Maine, and I saw like a Disney World commercial. It was like, oh, I live there. So it's kind of cool. So always fun to. I always forget that you've got some great sponsorships here locally in Orlando. So it's always makes me smile with those. And that the Postania ad, I'm going to tell you, is the best ad in any type of cigar media. Period. It is the best.
That's all Mike. Mike wrote that up, and I made a couple very, very minor edits. But I just love the self-deprecating nature of it.
Never made the top 10.
It's so
even
good.
Even though they were, and we still read it, even though their cigar was #2 on our top 10 list last year. Yeah, but we still read the ad the same way because it's just so damn funny.
If ever wonder the ending one is ever wonder why the Poseidon cigar never made the How About the Cigar top 10 list? Well, you can be reminded every week. Well, hey guys, thanks for having me on. I'm excited. I'm honestly smoking on a fresh palate tonight. This is my first cigar of the day. So I kept my palate fresh for the special night we've got here with the cigar and whiskey pairings that we've got going. So I'm going in totally fresh. Very awkward that I do that.
Yeah, what did you decide on for your first cigar?
So I'm smoking a Solomon, okay? And this will be heard here first. We're going to be doing a Hooten Young Cigar Club that's going to be launching sometime in the next 45 days. And I'm smoking one of the test blends for one of the special cigars that we have that's going to be in the club. and it's a Solomon. I won't get into what it's actually going to be, but this will be one of the first cigars in the cigar club, and you can expect to see that in the next 30 to 45 days. We'll be announcing and executing really, really engaging, and I think a I'm not going to say revolutionary club, because I don't think there's anything that's revolutionary in the cigar industry any longer, and I don't. There has been for a long time, and I think that word gets thrown around where we're going to reinvent the cigar industry or we're going to do this and that. No, but we are going to do some really creative things and have some really special projects that are part of the club.
Nice.
So I think it's going to be things that we haven't seen before in the industry in terms of branding, and bring some excitement, true excitement, to that club. So yeah, 30 to 45. So I'm smoking that. It's a Solomon.
Yeah,
I'll just tell you guys what it's going to be. It's gonna be. No, I'm not going to tell. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's all
I'll
right.
tell you
Yeah.
out here.
What are you pairing that with, John?
Right now, I'm pairing it with Winter Park's finest tap water. Very clean on the
Nice.
palate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heavily chlorinated. So
going the
I'm going
same
to pair
route.
this. So this is a Maduro. So we got I got a Mexican San Andreas on this. So real dry, clean on the palate. Great draw. I'm in slightly to the point where the foot of the cigar opened up already. So the draw on it's phenomenal. I'm gonna start pairing tonight. So we've got two things we're pairing. We'll get into this a little bit more, but we're gonna go with the pairing that we're doing tonight. We're gonna start at lower proof and go to a higher proof.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start off tonight with our Gothic Serpent Rye, which we'll explain a little bit more in a little bit. But I got my daddy's sippy cup.
That's awesome.
So,
Perfect.
yep. So daddy's sippy cup ready to go, and I got 2 bottles of liquor here. So we'll have a good pairing.
Well, I want you to because you were kind enough to send the studio. We have the Hooten Young Rye whiskey, which I'll get right up in there. There we go.
Yep.
And this is coming in at 93 proof. And then we have the Hooten Young bottled in bond bourbon, and this is coming in at 100 proof even. Now, what I picked out from the lovely selection of Hooten Young cigars is the lovely and I don't know if you use the term bellicoso or torpedo for the Operation Gothic Serpent, the 25th. And Dax, what did you pick out?
The Parader. Is that how you say that? I don't.
Operator.
Operator is
You had your finger over that first letter.
Yep. It's got a little symbol, but I really like the art. The art is definitely cool.
And I got, just real quick, the Operation Neptune over here.
Nice.
So you've got Operation Neptune Spear. We've got Operator, and then we've got the Gothic Serpent Rye. So one of you has unintentionally picked the only cigar that we have that's intentionally blended to be paired with one of our whiskey representations, and it happens to be what we're going to start with tonight, which is the Operation Gothic Serpent Rye.
Perfect.
So yeah, Matt, you picked the Eladio Diaz made Dominican Republic Operation Gothic Serpent 30th, which was created to be paired specifically with the Gothic Serpent Rye. Now we recommend all of our whiskey representations, the bourbons, work with all cigars. There's nothing that's like faux pas or, oh my gosh, you shouldn't pair the 8-year with this, or you shouldn't pair this 15-year with this cigar. So when we make pairings, it's every expression that we have is made to work with every expression we have in terms of cigars. But they said the Gothic Serpent 30th pairs directly with the Gothic Serpent Rye. So there's a couple fun things. So just a brief explanation on Hooten Young. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it. We're the only fully, we're the only veteran-owned whiskey and cigar brand. And it's truly a whiskey and cigar brand. We have whiskey team and we have our cigar team, and we all work together. But the company was founded in 2018. It was founded by Special Forces operator Norm Hooten. He was a Delta Force operator for 20 plus years. And his public fame came from the movie Black Hawk Down, which coincidentally was one of the most deadly Special Forces operations in the history of the U.S. Special Forces. And how the cigar company and whiskey company began was, after every mission, Norm's unit would have a cigar together. It was kind of how they wrapped up the mission. Coincidentally, in 1993, then there's some Easter eggs that we'll talk about on here too. From some of these things, 1993 was the year of Operation Gothic Serpent, which was that mission in Mogadishu. And as you already noticed, this is 93 proof. So there's the first little Easter egg. So that's why it's 93 proof. They obviously didn't get to enjoy a cigar after that mission. And 25 years later, and coincidentally, this was on October 3rd, 1993. So we just passed the 32nd year since that mission had happened. And Norm posted a great picture online with some of his brothers and friends from that. One of them was with the general. The guy's a 4-star general now. His name's Scott Miller. He was in that picture with Norm and his people. He was the commander of that operation, essentially. So they still commemorate to this day. But in 2018, it was the 25th anniversary of that mission, and the unit that Norm was part of in the collective group had got together and said they wanted to have a cigar finally to commemorate that time and put an end, to that mission and celebrate the brothers that lost their lives on that mission. There was 19 people that passed away during that mission, and there's 19 stars on your cigar, and there's 19 stars on this bottle around the logo to represent the 19 men that lost their lives. And they had that cigar, and everybody loved it. And they were like, "This is great. Can we get more of this?" And then they just started talking. Him and a good friend of his at the time, his name was Tim Young. It was his founding partner in the business when they got started. There's a new ownership group now. Coincidentally, the new ownership group also, the main owner, his last name is Young. So you have Hooten and Young still, which is great. They said, you should do this. You should turn this into a company. What better way to represent this and keep the memory on and to build something that's very unique and special. And that's how Hooten Young was born. It was born from that celebration and remembrance of that 25th anniversary of Operation Gothic Serpent. They came out with the first cigar they had was the Operation Gothic Serpent 25th anniversary. You have the 30th, which was from 2023. And it was the original was a Nicaraguan made cigar. And then they got into the whiskey business, and the rest is kind of history at that point. We have a 12-year-old, we have an 8-year-old, we have a 15-year-old barrel proof. They started with a 12-year and a 12-year-old barrel proof around 2018 and 2019. And we've got a 16-year now. We have a 17 and 18 year that we're looking at doing in the next year or so. And we just released our bottled and bond bourbon, which was born on the 4th of July, which we'll be getting into tonight also. So that's a brief history of how this got started. And it really was, the whole company was based off of remembrance. Our motto is made to remember. And all the experiences we have are about moments that are made to remember. So it's truly special for something for me to be a part of. I'm not a veteran myself, but I bleed red, white, and blue, and it's very special for them to welcome me into their business and be a big part of what they're doing, and be able to give back to the people that gave all for us. So very special, history and story behind how this brand started.
Yeah,
definitely.
And the story that because a number of people who were involved in that operation have written books, memoirs, they've given interviews. There was obviously the feature film that you mentioned about it. There was a documentary on Netflix, I believe, just within the last couple of years about it, and multiple other documentaries throughout the last 30 years on different media channels and things like that. And it is one of those events that, when it gets as much attention as that event had, because, it was one of those, it was one of those situations and this is me as an outsider. I didn't serve, and I have no idea what those guys go through on a daily basis, but, where, these guys were in a situation that was really tough for them to navigate, and they didn't necessarily have, because these guys rely a lot on intelligence leading up to the missions that they go on. and making sure they have all the information they can possibly have to keep themselves and their teams in a place where they can accomplish the mission yet remain as safe as possible. And boy, these guys, against odds that were absolutely staggering, sadly many of them did get injured and lose their lives, but it's for the ones who survived, it's a testament to their resolve. It's a testament to and a testament of the resolve of the people who unfortunately didn't make it home from that mission. And to see these guys commemorate the event and use these products, the whiskeys and the cigars, to honor the fallen and to remember, this event and all that. I mean, it's hard for me to even wrap my head around as a civilian. And but it's yet same as you. I bleed red, white, and blue. I love this country. Definitely. And I love the people who serve. And I always have had a special place in my heart for people who take the service even after they retire and they're no longer active duty, who use the things that they learned, and after they're out of the service they use it to give back and remember those who have fallen. And I love the fact that they've put that into these products.
Yeah, I love these little Easter eggs and these stories,
because it's meaningful. It's beyond just the cigars and the whiskey. It's meaningful.
Yeah, I mean, every product and everything they've created and everything that we create since I've been on board starts with a story. So the story comes first, then we create the product. Because if you don't have a story, when you're making, especially in spirits and tobacco, premium tobacco, if you don't have a story and you don't have a reason behind it, you're really just making another product. There's a lot of brands out there. And this isn't to badmouth anybody. I respect everyone fully in this premium cigar industry. I also own my own brand as well. And it's important to have a story behind it. And here in the U.S. Specifically, there's the stories behind military, operations, the brotherhood and the sisterhood of military. It's really special, and there's really nothing else quite like it. I know. I just got back from the international trade show Intertobac in Germany, and people were obviously very interested in what I've been doing with Bentley and whatnot. But some of the more interesting discussions were how a lot of people loved what the Hooten Young brand is and what it stood for. And they were like, I wish there was more pride for our countries and military in our countries, because I would love to have something like this in our country. And it was a lot of fascination with it. They're like, but it's so special that you guys are able to do that and have such a unique culture that really the vast majority of people from any walk of life or different political spectrum are generally really supportive of the military. So this hits home for a lot of people. And you mentioned that, the missions. The reason, with special forces operators, the reason we know about missions is because the ones that don't go well, the ones that go well, we don't really ever hear about that often. So, right. A mission like this with Gothic Serpent, which is what started this at the beginning, was, is something very special to remember those people and continuously have that be part of the memory and part of the story. And it's very special, and it's unique to me as well, because of how I got involved with this. And we've talked about this briefly before, but one of the 19 stars on here was a gentleman that was from my very small town in Lincoln, Maine. He was on the same unit as Norm, and he died on that mission. He was one of the gentlemen that went down when went down to protect and try to rescue when one of the Blackhawks went down. And he was a Delta operator as well. And my dad was this gentleman's teacher and his football coach, and he was our hometown hero. There's a statue of him in town. and his name was Master Sergeant Gary Gordon. And I grew up around this story, so running into Norm over the last 6-7 years in my previous career here in the premium cigar industry, and now being part of what they're doing is something that's truly special for me, and something that I grew up around my entire life with that story of this. So I think there's no better timing to get this poured a little bit, talk a little bit about it, and also talk about the cigars that you all have, and the unique nature of that. So unless you guys are already drinking, have you started? Did you start?
Oh yeah, sorry, we've already
We
dove
cut-
in.
Hey, no
but-
problem.
I'd like to also note one thing too. My father was in the service, and he is buried out at one of our national cemeteries here at Fort Snelling.
Yeah.
And just the impact, because I visit often. I know exactly where his plot is. I beeline there. I know how to get there. There was a little tree. There was just a sapling when he was first buried there. And now it's just this giant tree. And then there's like special moments when I'm there and driving through there, because I'll take a little bit of a detour every now and then and drive around the cemetery itself, and it's just so impactful how many people are there and how many lives were lost. And that's just one. That's just one
of our national cemeteries.
And I think when I did the numbers on it, I think you could fill Target Field Stadium like 7 or 8 times. Just to think about the impact and the enormity of some of these people have lost their lives in service, and that's just one cemetery. So
and those people, it's unique, because when you tell them thank you for their service, they most of the time the response you get back, it was absolutely my pleasure. They do it for us. It's not just for the government. It's obviously not because they're getting paid well to do it,
right?
So they really do it for us, and the ones that, which is, they said that the overwhelming majority of people that serve are doing it for us, and it's not just for America. We make America, and they're representing us. And it's like, from whatever walk of life we come from, whatever political standing, it's very unique. And I tell people at Hooten Young, about Hooten Young, when we talk, I said, we're not making political statements. We're representing those people and remembering those people that served for you and us. Sometimes there's some political leaning to it, but really at the end of the day, our mission is not to be political. Our mission is to remember those people that served for all of us.
100%.
Amen.
Yep.
So take us through your philosophy for these pairings.
Drink often, in large quantities, and frequent pouring. So I haven't smoked today, but I have drank an entire bottle of rye. I can
see what I have. Honestly, we've had a few sips, and I would like to drink the rest of this.
It's very good.
So we're going to start off Operation Gothic Serpent Rye. This is a 7-year-old rye. It's distilled in Silverton, Ohio, in partnership with NGP in Northern Indiana. So 7-year juice in here. This is 95% rye and 5% malted barley on the mash bill. Now, one thing that you are going to notice right off the bat here is ryes tend to be spicy. So you're either a rye drinker or you're not a rye drinker. I've never really met anybody who's in between. They're either for sake of rhyming, you're either a rye guy or not. And what's special about the Gothic Serpent rye is it tends to not be too spicy. It does have spice to it. You can notice a difference. I really enjoy it in old fashions, but it has a very smooth finish to it. It's not overwhelmingly spicy, and that comes from the proofing down to the 93% in my view of what this done. Proof's huge. Proof is king, and 93 proof is a weird proof. You wouldn't normally. That's not a normal proof. 90 is pretty common. 100 is common. There's in betweens. 95, but 93 is very specific. And what that you did uniquely to this rye is made it less spicy. And it's the comment I hear on this a lot. I don't know if you guys. It's the comment here is like it's a very drinkable rye. You got a little bit of citrus to it. There's some apple. There's some spice. I don't know. What do you? I don't like to tell people too much what they're getting. What are you getting?
One of the things I really like about it too is the viscosity. It really laces the glass.
I'm a big texture guy also. and it's got nice viscosity to it. And I agree that the proof makes a huge difference, because I think just a few more points of proof would the heat would take the spiciness over the top.
Right.
And I like the fact that, because on this rye, you do get a little bit of that classic rye spiciness at the beginning, but the finish, it's got a smooth and sweet, that it's interesting, because you even get notes of like, oh man, like sweet corn, but there's no corn in the mash bill,
right.
which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this fruity sweetness, and that kind of counteracts, because the cigar that I'm smoking, the Hooten Young cigar that I'm smoking, is kind of the opposite, where the rye starts with a little hint of spice and then finishes with sweetness, and the cigar has a nice smooth draw with a little bit of natural tobacco sweetness, and then there's just a little bit of spice on the finish of the cigar. So they actually kind of counteract each other a little bit and balance each other out. So I love that.
I love it too. Yeah. And he mentions apple. I got apple right away, because apple's definitely one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Apple pie, apple cider, all those things, candies, things like that. I really gravitate to apple. And this right away, that initial sip, I was blown away, because I'm a huge rye guy. I'm a E.H. Taylor rye all the way. I mean, I have, tons of bottles of that. And this is unbelievable. This is great.
You really get, for me, I get a lot of that apple on the nose quite a bit. If you take a deep inhale on it, you get a lot of that apple and a little bit of orange in it, and some slight pepper notes. But I really, when I take it, as this opens up and you sniff it, I really get a lot of apple. Now, it's unique with pairing cigars, or any type of pairing. You either have comparison or contrasting flavor profiles, right? So this rye is going to be I'll go through the 3 cigars you're having with this specifically. Matt, yours specifically is going to be very contrasting, as we just talked about. There's a lot of earthiness in the cigar. You have Dominican tobacco, tends to be earthy. That's a more medium-bodied cigar that you have there. So it's very traditional Dominican. So you're going to have a lot of contrasting flavors, which is really nice. As we go down the line here a little bit, the operator is a Habano wrapper, but it's Nicaraguan on the inside. And that cigar is our most aged out of the cigars that are here today. That's about 4 years of age. The oldest tobaccos that are in there, the wrapper's about 2.5 years old. So you're going to be getting, with this rye, I believe the operator is going to give you a little bit more spice out of it. So when you take a sip of the rye, and I think you take a puff of the cigar, you're going to get a little more spice. Now, the third cigar,
the retro on this thing too. The retro on the cigar is incredible.
Yep. And that's you're going to get a lot of comparative flavoring with that pairing, because it's a drier, spicy Nicaraguan cigar, not overly spicy, but it's going to bring the spice out in both of them. And then the Neptune Spear, which coincidentally, so the unique thing about the Neptune Spear and the story behind that is Operation Neptune Spear was the code name for the Osama bin Laden capture kill mission. So that's the first Navy SEAL inspired cigar that's been done with Hooten Young. Now, I say it's the first because this week we actually have our second Navy SEAL inspired blend coming out. It's called the Jack Carr edition. Jack Carr is very close friends with Norm and the ownership group, and Jack Carr was a Navy SEAL, and he's the New York Times best-selling author of many books. The ones that have been the most famous, the ones that have been adapted into Amazon Prime series, The Terminal List, which was starring Tyler Kitsch and Chris Pratt. So we have that coming out this week. It'll be out hopefully by Friday. It's waiting in customs right now. I hope the government shutdown's not screwing that up. But the Neptune Spear uses a Brazilian wrapper, which tends to have a little bit more natural sweetness to it. So you're going to be getting contrasting flavors there, and it's going to really tamper down some of the spice from the rye, and you're going to start to taste a little bit more of the sweetness from both because of that Brazilian wrapper. So there's 3 really distinctly different pairings going on here right now, which is great.
Well, and you know what I'm getting now? I mean, especially on the aroma, and I'm not recommending that everybody, just constantly throughout drinking a pour of their whiskey that they constantly go back and smell it. But at the same time, I kind of do recommend that.
Yeah, I do.
That throughout the whole pour of the glass, you keep going back and getting aromas because they'll kind of evolve and the flavors will evolve a little bit too, because it'll start to warm up a little bit. And
it's more oxygen.
It gets a little more oxygen into it. And the apple is definitely still there, but now it's so funny because it's almost getting this little bit of and I know it's going to sound wackadoo, but it is what it is. A little bit of banana.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's mainly just a sweet smell. It's not any particular. I mean, you say apple, you say banana, but it's kind of a sweetness that just reminds me of, when you get a ripe banana and peel the thing open, boom, you get that smell in your nose. That's what I'm getting a little bit of.
I'm definitely buying a bottle of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get where you're going on the banana thing. I pick that up more as like the citrus and apple combined with like vanilla.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
It's like that vanilla.
Absolutely.
It's that same. So when you sniff a banana, it's unique because it's like drying, but it's got a really unique feel on your nose and on your palate, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with vanilla. Vanilla has that thing. It's almost acidic, but not. Is kind of hard to describe it. It's like you said, it's creaminess. It's what I describe when it's on my palate is creamy, like a smooth finish. But vanilla has that with acidic because of alcohol, right? That's in vanilla.
Yeah, that's
and
what
the
I
same
get
thing
when
you're getting here. So
that creamy.
yeah, but I definitely get the banana thing you're saying too. The combo of those three things combined is really banana for me.
And it's like that, and that vanilla. We do the Spirit of Mystery every week, and that's such a classic. Anything that's, any American whiskey, whether it's a rye or a bourbon, they're aging it in charred oak barrels. So you're gonna whether you know it or not, that's some of the flavor and aroma compounds that come from that process are almost molecularly identical to vanilla. So you're gonna get vanilla notes whether you know it or not. It's science.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's science.
That malted barley in there doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, and
so it's all. If
the
you
fact
look at
that
the
it's
color
malted
of this,
barley and not just raw barley makes all the difference.
I honestly love it that it's not that spicy. It really 93
it's
proof
super
really
smooth. It's not
down.
it doesn't bite.
Yeah,
it just has a little kick to it.
That proof window is awesome.
The color on it's real unique too. It's kind of almost got like a slight copper finish to it.
Yeah.
If you put it on the back of something white, like a piece of paper, and take a look at it, or something that's light, that's what I tend to do is on a piece of paper like this. You can take it. It almost has that's hard to see now that I'm holding it, but
right.
Daddy's sippy cup, but almost like a little light copper finish to it. It's special looking when you put it next to all the other offerings that we have. It has a very noticeably different look than some of the others. Obviously, as you get down the line in higher age, everything gets darker and darker. But around the 7 to 8 year level, this has got a very unique color in its palette to it. That's a rich color for a 7-year-old juice.
Oh, turn that volume down on your phone. And I would, because I normally, and for anybody out there that likes to, occasionally have whiskey cocktails, if you don't feel like just drinking it neat that night, if you're going to have an old fashioned or a Manhattan or something like that, I typically like to have something that's 100 proof or higher to mix cocktails with. But the flavor on this is so it's rich. It's got a richness to it that I think would stand up to even being mixed in a cocktail.
I agree. Yeah. And like you said, it definitely is creamy, and that would work really well in in a Manhattan, I think. Really good.
Yeah.
I'm a big Manhattan guy.
The de facto bourbon and rye cocktails are obviously the most popular as old fashions, but Manhattans are phenomenal with this. We recommend a rye old fashioned with it because it just gives it a slight bit of pepper, but not overpowering. You mentioned like if we put in like an E.H. Taylor that's like barrel strength or something, or they tend to have a lot of kick to them and a lot of spice. Right. It's almost overpowering. It almost doesn't blend well. It's like if you put one of those in an old fashioned, it's like, what are you doing now with this? In my opinion, I think you get a good combination of both, where I have some people that like, I'm not normally, they say I'm not normally a rye drinker, and they'll have it, and we will actually kind of tell people very little about, sometimes when we sample this. Sometimes we lead off our tastings with the rye, but not telling anybody it's rye, and then we ask them what they think of it, and they're like, man, this is really nice. And then we'll be like, this was the rye that you told me that you don't like drinking rye. And so it's special, it's different. I think it's a great representation of the potential of what proofing can do, and how proofing really does impact these things. Like you said, I think that's kind of a unique sweet spot that we're at.
Yeah, the drinkability part is
super drinkable,
so good.
And I want to just kind of as a little conversational palate cleanser before we move on to more whiskey and cigar talk. But and it still is whiskey talk, I guess. But John, I'm curious from you, and I'm curious from everybody really, and even our viewers in the comments. Years ago at one of the, gosh, this may have been even before it was the PCA trade show, when it was the IPCPR trade show. Was at an event, at a after hours event at one of the bars. Of course, it's 10 years ago, 9 years ago. I don't remember exactly which spot it was, but they made still to this day, the best old fashioned I've ever had in my life. I've tried to imitate it myself at home, and I don't come close to it. But they, instead of simple syrup, they used smoked maple syrup.
Oh, I do that actually at home.
So I finally tried that at home, and so instead of warm smoking the maple syrup, I just used those stainless steel perforated smoke tubes, and cold smoked some maple syrup for a long time, like 4 or 5 hours, and went out, stirred it every once in a while to make sure it's all getting mixed well, and incorporated the smoke flavor into the maple syrup. And that's become one of my favorite things, is smoked maple syrup in different, and I like to use smoke flavor in a lot of different cocktails and things like that. But everybody's got their own like special, I don't know, trick that they use at home to just send certain cocktails over the top. Like, John, what's your favorite trick to do at home for mixing cocktails when you have company over?
So aromatics are huge. So we do a lot of smoked old fashions. We have a smaller house. So when you light up one of those, it smells the room up. So it's the whole house will smell like whatever we had. But for my old fashions, I don't use simple syrup. I use the like the Luxardo cherry syrup, which is essentially cherry infused simple syrup, right?
Yeah.
But it's just thick. It's almost like molassesy, but only cherry. So I just use that straight up, and I tend to like my old fashions slightly sweeter, not incredibly sweet, but I like to put a little bit extra syrup in there, and I use just the cherry, and then I use blood orange bitters as probably my favorite bitters to use.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it brings out just some of the little flavors. I mean, and so for me, preferred, I like to do that. When I first started drinking old fashions back in the day, before I knew anything about it, I like to have them just totally sugared up, where they'd muddle the sugar, and the last two sips were like eating candy. Now I know that I was just drinking sugar infused bourbon at the time, but now I do that with I use the cherry syrup that's in the actual Luxardo cherries.
That's a little bit why I go to Manhattan's instead, because it's old fashions are way too sweet.
I don't make mine as sweet, but I did a thing last Christmas, and it seriously, it's like my wife calls it Christmas in a cup, where I made a simple syrup with cranberries, orange peel, and cinnamon, and a little bit of rosemary, and holy shit,
that sounds great.
That's
great.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like,
that's Christmas.
It's like fire up the fireplace, pour one of those, and just put on some music, and it's heaven.
Right. Get out the mistletoe.
Honestly, get out the mistletoe, and give the kids $50 and say go to the mall or go to the movies or something, and it's, that's legit.
Little Barry White.
So Dax, do you do any like tricks or special little hacks for any cocktails at home?
I mean, the hack with the maple syrup, I do always have a bottle of pure maple syrup, real maple syrup in the bar. I have done some rosemary drinks, mostly gin smashes and things like that. So, yeah. I'm a big fan of gin. The more junipery, the better, actually. I don't like any of that
I like
herbaceous stuff.
I like lots of different kinds of gin, but I don't. Some people are completely against the super piney juniper forward gin, like Bombay Sapphire. I love Bombay Sapphire.
Yeah.
But I also love some of the more nuanced. I love Matt Booth's gin. There's this one called the Botanist gin.
Oh, sure.
Which is, and I even like the Navy strength gins, like Blue Whale and some other ones that are just crazy, high proof.
Right.
But I freaking love gin.
I did a brown butter wash bourbon by myself one time. It was fantastic. I think I've given it to you as the Spirit of Mystery. Back when I was the guest. The guest spirit maker.
Yeah, that's right.
But brown butter wash bourbon. It was really good in old fashions because it gave you that caramely, that extra caramely layer to it. It was really, really good.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. All right. So Jonathan, let's
I had to get another pour.
And if you have more to add to that, please do. But if you want to take this dance to the next number, please, this is your show, brother.
Well, it was funny. You were talking about gin. So Bombay Sapphire was my favorite gin to drink. And I don't drink a lot of it anymore, but I had, when I was in college, I would drink Bombay Sapphire and Mountain Dew. But I didn't know this at the time. Mountain Dew was actually made in the mountains to be used to like drink with as a mixer for like moonshine. Yeah. That's how it was originally founded. And I had no idea. So I'd drink it and people were like, oh, you're crazy. Why are you mixing with Mountain Dew? Now, as a grown man, I look back when I was like 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, drinking gin and Mountain Dew. I didn't realize I was being very authentic and old school, essentially, being an old school drinker. But if you ever have a chance, try it at least once. Bombay Sapphire, a lot of it with some Mountain Dew is freaking delicious.
I'd try it, definitely.
I'm in.
Great. Yeah,
I'm in. I don't have any Mountain Dew in the house. I have Bombay Sapphire, but I don't have any Mountain Dew. So I'll go out and pick some up, and we'll get back to you on.
It's because we're adults now. You don't have Mountain Dew in the house. We're adults.
Right.
So our next expression we're going to get into is our Hooten Young Bottled and Bond bourbon. This just came out in July. It was born on the 4th of July. What makes it bottled and bond is it's got to be a minimum of 4 years, one distillery, one growing, one season, minimum of 100 proof. And it was originally created as essentially a certification system to ensure that your bourbon was indeed bourbon. And it was essentially a quality standard that was set up from regulatory reasons to stop people from serving things that weren't as high quality. So you look at like DOCG standards in like Italy for like Chianti Classico. There's standards that it must meet to be Chianti Classico, or Parmesan Reggiano. There's standards that it must meet.
Right.
So the bottle and bond standards are what these meet. So this comes out of our partners at Bardstown. Norm served actually with the CEO of Bardstown when he was in the military, and they were both veterans and served together. So coincidentally, they decided to do the bourbon together. And Bardstown has been growing wildly in the in the bourbon world. And so this bottle and bond is from Bardstown. It's distilled at Green River in Bardstown, Kentucky, bottled by Bardstown and bottled and bond. And so 100 proof. This is 4.5 years old in age. Got great color for it. And you're going to get, I'm interested to see, there's some similarities into both of these. And the similarities, which is funny, is this: what we get from the rye is because it's proofed down to the 93, and the reason we get them in the bourbon is because it's proofed at 100. So this is an example of how a little bit stronger in strength and proofing. creates some similar results and then also changes some intensity into it. But I'm interested to see what you all think about this. I don't think you've had this one before because this literally just started to hit the market. So this is our bottled and bond.
I'm getting a boatload of cherry.
I was just gonna say dark cherries.
Yeah,
like dark cherries, dark sugar too, not like regular sugar, but like brown sugar or toffee,
chocolate.
Yeah, a little bit of cocoa. That's chocolate covered cherries. Holy cow!
Yeah, this is really
huge cherry.
Just bangers.
It reminds me of Calumet Farm, big bourbon producer. They got a lot of different iterations. You know, you can get 8-year, 10-year, 15-year, so on and so forth. And I think I might have drank it all. Yeah, I drank it all. The bottle used to be back there, but they're the Calumet Farm 15-year. This reminds me a lot of the Calumet Farm 15-year because that was a cherry bomb, and it was also 100 proof even. I think it was 100 proof even.
Okay.
But yeah, it was very similar. A lot of like dark cherry sweetness.
This is great.
Yeah.
So the mash bill on this one is slightly different. It's so. You want to take any guesses? I know you don't have to tell me percentages, but maybe you got some guesses of what's going on.
I'm going to say, I'm just throwing this at the wall. I'll say in the neighborhood of 60% corn. 30% malted barley and 10% rye.
So we're at this one. We're 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% distillers blend. So distillers blends like the special, their special juice, their unspoken ingredients. But heavier on the corn with this one, and then quite a good percentage of rye there. Which that's where I think once you start drinking it, you're going to start to pick up a little bit of what the rye presents in there. And then also with the proof being at 100, what this does when you're pairing with cigars is it's going to make the smoke and the flavor you get from pairing with cigar last a little longer on your palate. For example, if you take like colognes, for example, when you put essential oils in colognes, they use alcohols as like a carrier for it. That's why there's alcohol in cologne. And what that does is spreads out the molecules and spreads out the scent. So it lasts longer, essentially. So you get the same result with the proofing of alcohol. The higher the proof, the longer the finish is going to be on the pour, and then the longer the flavor is going to linger when you pair that with the smoke of the cigar. So it serves that same purpose as spreading that flavor around and creating a longer finish.
Well, and still on the
the lacing also is
the viscosity is still, even at 100 proof, the viscosity is outstanding. And for our viewers and listeners that drink a lot of different kinds of whiskey, that these differences. But if you haven't sampled a lot of different types of whiskeys, the difference between 93 proof and 100 proof can be a vast difference.
Gigantic.
And the higher you go in proof, sometimes you have a tendency to lose viscosity. It gets a little thinner. It gets a little, it's just heat. It's just heat, and it kind of thins out on the palate. But this is still viscous. It still coats the palate, and the flavors remain on the palate. So yeah, I agree, John. It's got a long finish, and that really does enhance the flavor of the cigar.
Like I would say again, drinkable, because this is there's so much sweetness and fruit that I'm getting on this one too. But this is fantastic. They're both really good. And gosh, I can't wait to bring it to the club and have some of these other guys have some of this.
And the retrohale, by the way, on the Operation Gothic Serpent it's bold. If you're not a retrohaler, proceed with caution, but it's fantastic.
It's interesting because you've got the most contrasting, as I've said, the most contrasting pairing out of anyone on here, because you've got a cigar that's not inherently have a whole lot of sweetness to it.
Yeah.
The Neptune Spear is going to be the one that's got the most comparative, which would be interesting. It'd be interesting to see you all smoke different cigars with it too. But I think you've got for me, I like contrasting flavor profiles because it like refreshes your palate. Every time you take a sip, it cleanses your palate. Every time you take a puff, it cleanses your palate and you get new flavors, right?
Well,
so I prefer contrasting.
I'm going to mix it up a little bit because I'm about halfway through, because I smoke fast. I'm about halfway through this cigar, and I want to mix it up a little bit. And this is one of the cigars. And just for audience clarity, and I'm sure everybody who watches this show knows that Justin's sober. Justin doesn't drink alcohol, so Justin's enjoying his 1919 root beer.
Yeah, but he's having a root beer. But
he's having.
How's
the pairing with the root beer?
It's good. The root beer's got a little vanilla and sweetness to it itself, and I think it pairs well with this one that what is the
Neptune Spear.
Yeah, Operation Neptune Spear. Yeah.
So
you got sweetness on sweetness. So you're still getting the same comparative flavor profile for sure.
So John, let me ask you this: since we're Dax and I are drinking the Bottled in Bond bourbon right now, 100 proof. I just reached for, but I want to ask you before I light up another cigar. So I reached for the 2020, the box press Robusto, and I want to know from you what, like, so we've got the Operation Neptune Spear, and we've got the Operator, and we've got the 2020, we've got the Gothic Serpent, which I'm smoking right now, and then I already mentioned Neptune Spear. So and we haven't, none of us have smoked yet the 2020. Right. So I want your recommendation, what I should light up.
Go in with the 2020. That's okay, Norm's favorite cigar out of our lineup. Like box press Nicaraguan, utilizes a real dark San Andreas wrapper. So if we're looking to change up the pairing here, that's going to be the stark contrast. And then with the dryness of the San Andreas, but you still get a lot of spiciness, but it's clean. San Andreas tends to be very clean on the palate. This will be a really good way for you to change up the pairing you specifically did, and really, in my opinion, bring out. I think you're going to start to see more when you smoke with this 2020. You're going to start to see on your palate, flavor wise, a lot more of what we smelled, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
When you have a contrasting flavor profile, what you had with the Gothic Serpent, I think you don't tend to get as much of the sense on the flavor profile. You get different flavors and you go back and forth. I think when you have a comparative one, you tend to get that natural, what you smelled is going to be what you taste, in my opinion. Now everybody's palate's different, but that's how it works for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll ask too. I mean, you're already 3/4 of a bottle into that rye. So
allegedly.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite pairing?
Ooh, yeah.
Man, I jump around quite a bit. I really enjoy the 2020 Robusto quite a bit. I tend to smoke Robustos almost exclusively now. I mean, I'm smoking a Solomon tonight, but I smoke a lot of Robustos and Coronas. So the 2020 Robusto is probably the one that I'm drawn towards the most. However, if I'm not going to be smoking what I normally do during the day, like when I'm working, I'm smoking smaller cigars. The Neptune Spear is one that I'm very partial to. I love Brazilian wrapper and Brazilian tobacco, and the Neptune Spear is probably my favorite in terms of a standard size cigar that we have. But I'm drawn towards that 2020 by just what my smoking tendencies tend to be. But Neptune Spear is my favorite. And in terms of pairing it, I really do enjoy the rye. And then for our very high proof, I enjoy our 15-year quite a bit, which is 125 proof. Wow. So much fuller. I enjoy that. I don't. I sip very little amount of it. I'll have like an ounce and just sip on it. I pour a big glass, but I really enjoy at the end of the night, like something that's got a really long finish to it, and that 15-year and those barrel proofs really linger, and are almost chewy. So it's you really know you're drinking and you really know you're smoking something when you have that pairing.
Right. I did notice that there are some pretty well aged spirits on the website too. So
Yeah.
So how long has the distillery part of it been going on?
Sorry, you cut out there on my end.
I
lean closer to hear you, and I realized I have headphones in.
Yeah, so I noticed that there were some pretty well aged spirits there, some bourbons there. Yeah, so how long has the distillery portion of the company been going?
So we partner with NGP up in Northern Indiana. When we bought the initial barrels back in 2018, we bought 6-year juice and 8-year juice, 10-year and 12-year, and then aged. What you do is you tend to buy younger and then age it in the barrels yourself. It's honestly just more economical to do it that way. So we've been aging whiskeys for 9 years at this point in time. Our oldest that we have is 17 right now, and that's going to be turning 18 at the beginning of next year. So we've been aging for 9 years on the American whiskeys. The bourbon we just got in the bourbon game in July, so that started in January, and what we use, that's 4 to 5 year. But yeah, we've been aging whiskeys for about 9 years.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this whiskey is incredible.
All right, I gotta say, so now I'm just a little ways in to the 2020 box press Robusto, and now with this bourbon, this bottled in bond 100 proof, that San Andreas earthiness, it's almost like an earthy sweetness,
right,
like Mexican chocolate.
Yep.
That kind of earthy sweetness mixed with kind of the back of the palate spice is lingering. It's a super long finish on the cigar, which I love when you get a cigar that's committed, a cigar blend that's committed to being spicy, but not, bowling you over. It's just that lingering spice that sits on the back of the palate for a long time.
Right.
And then the sip of the bourbon, right away, the sweetness of the bourbon hits and then kind of washes over that spiciness from the cigar. And then the hint of spice from that 21% rye in the mash bill kind of takes over. And I just love it. It's
after you take a nice good retro of this one. Yeah, the retro on the cigar is no joke. And then with the little sip, you feel like you're almost smoking the cigar again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I dig it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I'm experiencing something interesting here in Orlando right now. So I was just pulling this up because my cigar's wet. And I'm like, how is this wet? So it's 89% humidity right now. It's 77 degrees. It's 89%, which means we're pretty close to like a dew point, right? So so I got San Andreas on this. You were talking about like the dry nature of it. San Andreas also, in my opinion, when you're in high humidity environments, and I tend to smoke more humid cigars just because I live in Florida, is less drying to me, which is interesting. It tends to be a little more mouth-watering, and it tends to bring out more sweetness in it. I almost wish I was smoking in a Neptune Spear right now, because I think that the humidity that I'm in right now would bring out some real different flavor profiles in the cigar. So that's something to think too when you're smoking and drinking. The environment you're in makes a big difference. In that the humidity and the weather around you really does have an impact on your palate. It's like if you go flying on an airplane, your palate's different. Things taste different because of pressure, temperature, humidity, and whatnot. Same thing here. So I'm getting a lot of different flavors from this. You mentioned dryness. It's almost like when you go to like Nicaragua or the Dominican Republic or Honduras, and everybody's like, man, the cigars just taste so different down there. They do. It's not just because because you're there in the moment, right? But it's also that environment that's in was the perfect environment for that tobacco to grow in. and then it's also almost the perfect environment for it to be smoked in. It's what that plant was intended to be thriving in. So
Sure.
you know, it's funny to mention it that way and get that deep into it, but it really is that way. And I said when we were talking about the dryness, it made me think. I pulled up on my computer. I was like, I wonder what the humidity is on right now. I go, because I'm drenched, and I go, and it's not hot, and it's because we're at a high humidity level, and the cigars really take
So
nicely
true.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took a vacation to the Dominican, and I had a big, rich, big, oily LFD cigar, and I was sitting at the beach, really. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
way different. I thought it was way different because of that. I thought it was
And environment, humidity level, heat, even environment as far as if you're near, I'm sorry to say, if you're near like a paper mill or a refinery or something like that, you get smells in the air, and even by the beach.
Yeah.
If you're somewhere by the beach and that air smells salty, that's going to affect the flavor and aroma of your cigar.
Tom in the comments section mentioned that he almost gets like Christmassy flavors out of the 2020. I get mint out of it sometimes. It's almost like an aftertaste of not the flavor of mint, but the aftertaste of mint. It's very minerally is what that is. It comes from the minerals.
Yeah, it's puts that sensation.
Great comments by the listeners.
That sensation on the tongue, like tingliness that you get from mint sometimes. Yeah. And Chris Benny, can we get Hooten here? So yes, in the state of Minnesota, Hooten Young whiskeys are available. I know they're available at, sorry, John, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they're available at Total Wine.
Yep, we have a couple of our offerings available at Total Wine. They carry our 12-year. We've just recently introduced to them our bourbon, so it should be coming. Our cigars are available in Minnesota now. There's a retailer called Cigar Jones that carries our products in Minnesota, which has been a big supporter of ours. And then also all of our products are available, and we ship nationwide on hootenyoung.com. You can order our whiskeys through there and our cigars. You can also order them at the same time on the same checkout situation. But yeah, hootenyoung.com, if you don't have it close by, certainly ships. And that ships from we don't ship it ourselves because there's a 3-tier system. It's essentially a system that's in place where it will fulfill your order based off the closest retailer that's part of the partnership network, ship network that will ship to you. So when you do buy from our website, it comes from retail partners across the country, and it's brick and mortar retailers, which I think is unique with that. But all of it's available on hootenyoung.com. But yeah, we do business with Total Wine, so you can find it in there. As I said, Limited Expressions, they're a very big store. We're a very young company, but if you're looking for something that's challenging, a quick Google search is great. Or I said, simply go to hootenyoung.com, and we have all of our expressions that are available there. If anyone's interested, I'll tell you the 12-year. When that came out, there was a barrel strength that came out, and I don't see it around that often. But there's a place, I'll give you guys the address on this for people that are hunters. And the name of the retailer, it's on International Drive. It's called Bevfly.
It's here in Minnesota.
They're in Orlando.
Okay.
But the guy ships literally everywhere. Yeah, he just ships all over the place. But his website, I'm pulling it up here. It's called, the reason I'm bringing this up is he has the 12-year barrel strength on his website. It's Bevfly, BEVFLY.com. So if you go in on there and just do a quick search, Hooten Young, all the expressions pop up, and he has the Hooten Young 12-year barrel age from like 2019, which is awesome. That's one of the cooler ones that I've had a chance to try, and I've got to get over and buy one, because every time I'm near there, I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy one, and I don't, and I know I'm going to go eventually in there, and he's just not going to have it anymore. But that's a really special one if you're looking for something that is not easy to get. He does have that available, which is kind of cool.
I'm a gigantic bourbon nerd, and a lot of people know that about me here in the state of Minnesota. I have a little bit of a policy with my garage. if the garage door is open, so's the invite. So, and I'll open everything. I don't care. But these are fantastic. I'm buying these tomorrow. These two spirits, these two offerings today are incredible.
So John, just to clarify, you said that was the barrel proof American whiskey, the 12-year?
Yeah, 12-year barrel proof American whiskey.
All right, I'm on the website right now. I'm going to put the link in the comments, so anybody on YouTube or Facebook will be able.
It's it's a pricey bottle. It's got some serious age on it, but it is something special that you'll never be able to get again. We were not doing that project again. The juice that we actually have we don't have 12-year right now at all. So it's interesting because our 12-year is our best seller. So here's another, this isn't an Easter egg. This is an insider tip. Our 12-year whiskey right now, our 12-year American whiskey. So in whiskeys, I'm sure you guys know this most certainly. You can't overage state. You can underage state, but you can't overage state. So what's on the bottle must be the youngest juice that's in there. So when the new ownership group took over in January, we had a decision to make. Do we want to just not sell our 12-year, which is our front mark? We were waiting on the bourbon to come out. The bourbon's $40, by the way, a great bang for the buck.
Wow.
So you're drinking Green River with the same mash bill for half the price practically. But we ran out of 12 years. So it was either do we sell out or do we bottle what we had? And what we had was 17-year-old juice. So the 12-year right now is 17-year-old inside of it. So so there's some 2 tips there. If you find 12-year, buy it now. It'll be about another year until the juice is 12 years old. And then the 12-year barrel age was batch 1. So our bottles used to say batch 1 on them. That's being removed. What that just meant was it was the first run, and that batch 1 was to differentiate itself from the 12-year barrel proof.
Yeah. Yeah, the pairing, this is definitely a bolder pairing. So for our viewers and listeners out there that are into bolder cigars and bolder whiskeys, this is not going to knock you in the dirt, but it's going to give you a lot more depth, a lot more I won't say complexity, but it's deep, it's powerful. This is a powerful pairing.
Right.
But I dig it. The
huge
San
rye
Andreas
guy, and that rye is phenomenal. But I do really love this 100 proof.
Yeah,
it's really incredible.
Yeah, but the 2020 cigar with the bottled and bond bourbon, it's a good combination.
I came on the right night.
Here's the thing, man. I was gonna send more stuff up, but I want to keep doing this. So I want to do this every once in a while. So it's like if I give everything, if we did 3 or 4 the first night, I'd limit it. So when we do this, I'd like to do 2 at a time, so we can slowly work our way through it and have some special stuff. So that's why I didn't send up more representations.
As much as I would have loved to have, opened up, 6 or 7 bottles in the we have to work tomorrow morning. Yeah. So it's actually cool that we're not going to get, fucking schnockered on the show because we got jobs. We got families.
But it sounds like I'm in for whiskey nights.
Yes, most definitely. Definitely.
Well, you're always welcome, my friend.
Yeah. Hey, this has been a pleasure.
So John, I got to ask about the, kind of the, you talked about, you're smoking that Salamone, and, I know that you're always working on test blends and working on new stuff and things like that. But, as you look at kind of the whiskey and the cigar portfolio of Hooten Young, and you look at the future, what are some things that you want to see? Some maybe, I don't want to say gaps, but maybe some wish list items that you're like, oh, this item and this item would be absolutely match made in heaven. And as you look in the future, what kind of pairings are you looking for?
Well, as I said, we're really the only true whiskey and cigar company. This company was started to be a whiskey and cigar company. Now, there's whiskey companies that have cigars. There's cigar companies that have made whiskeys, but everything that we created here and everything Norm created when he envisioned this, 7-8 years ago, was to be whiskey and cigars. So there's a lot of things that play hand in hand. And the fact that we truly do both internally is very different. You know, a lot of the times there's collaborative projects where, you know, a whiskey company will do something that pairs essentially, or a barrel pick that pairs with cigars, or they make a special cigar that's intended to be smoked with the whiskey. I mean, everything we do is intended to work with each other. You know,
Yeah.
everything's supposed to be with the whiskey and the cigars.
That's
And if you
another
don't drink
flavor.
whiskey, you smoke the cigars. And if you don't smoke, drink the whiskey. So it's unique in that regard. I've used the word unique because it truly is. I've used it a lot tonight. There's nobody else doing what we're doing here. And the fact that you add the veteran ownership and operated aspect of it is huge. And we've got a great combination team. So, you know, there's a lot of things that we talk about. And naturally, we're a cigar and whiskey company. We'd like to be doing some sort of a cigar malt concept in the future. That's something that's very much in the works and a very much of a point of discussion.
That would be perfect.
Yep. You know, we have a barrel pick program that we're going to be rolling out here in the next few months, and then going very strong with next year. So that's something that's on the horizon. And, you know, I mentioned briefly the Cigar Club. What the Cigar Club is going to allow us to do is to create unique and special blends that are just for the club, that commemorate and pay, you know, and tell the stories of certain military events and holidays and things that go along throughout the year without interfering with our core line at the same time. I don't want to, and, you know, we internally talk a lot about this. We don't want to confuse a lot of our lines or confuse the stories, but there are a lot of special events and special military holidays and historical events that we'll be commemorating in our Cigar Club. And it's in a natural progression too, is to be doing some barrel aging on some cigars ourselves. So we've slowly been learning how to do that, and utilizing our own barrels. So, you know, when someone does a barrel pick, they'll be able to smoke cigars with that barrel that was aged in the same barrel that they picked from.
Yeah,
And
I love
nobody's
that.
doing that. So, and nor does anybody really have the ability or the timing to really do it, or the place. You know, we do it internally. You know, I'll be doing the barrel aging with our manufacturing partner, which is going to be really fun. So,
is that
you know,
really your niche though? Your niche is the whiskey part?
For me personally,
Yeah.
I run the cigar business.
Yeah,
Okay.
John's the cigar.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm a cigar guy. Yeah, I know I'm talking really well on whiskey.
Yeah,
I'll tell
definitely.
you, 8 months ago, I wouldn't be able to talk on any of this. And it's been interesting because this wasn't part of anything that I thought would ever happen in my life, where I'd be part of a cigar and whiskey company. You know, I've done a barrel pick before. I did a bourbon with Tony Gomez of LFD. He and I did one called Bull's Breath. I think you guys have had that before at the PCA show. And
Yeah.
so I did that, and that was kind of a private project, but to be
guy.
part of an actual nationwide brand is special. So I've learned so much about whiskey. And it's funny now, I had friends that you know, they were always into bourbons and whiskeys, and I never, you know, they always talk and chat. And now that I'm in it, we sit down and we talk, and I start talking their language. So it's been a fun growth for me, and it's not something that I was really deep in until this last 8 or 9 months. And there's really a lot to learn from it. But yeah, on the cigars is my background, and it's going to be fun to do some offerings and said barrel age and actual barrels that we're doing, and doing barrel picks with, and say, hey, when you drink the bottled and bond bourbon, you know, there'll be a cigar eventually that was barrel aged in that same barrel, and same concept if we were to do a cigar malt.
That concept in and of itself, to have a cigar that has a leaf in it that was literally aged in it has a very high potential to be that cigar, that one of the leaves in that cigar was aged in the same barrel as the whiskey that you're drinking. I mean, that's an insane concept. And as cigar and whiskey nerds like we are, that we just it just, I'm not gonna lie, it gets my juices flowing. It's just
I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a ton of authenticity to it too, because I'm going to be the one that's doing it. Like, we're going to be doing it internally. So when I tell you it's been in that barrel, it's been in that barrel.
Yeah.
So I'm literally doing it.
I'm a big craft beer nerd too. So
yeah,
I've had some cigars that the leaves were aged in those bourbon barrels, and they're complex. They're incredible. I think that's really special.
And what
And, there's a lot of there are cigars that have been barrel aged. Don't get me wrong. There's brands
Sure.
that are all barrel aged.
Yeah, sure.
But I assure you that when if we do a barrel pick, I assure you that cigar that you're going to have is going to be coming out of that barrel.
Mhm.
I know that for a fact because I'm going to
Right.
be the one doing it, and I'm looking at it. So it's going to be a really special way to do it, and I said a lot of authenticity to it, which is great.
So that's a little bit of my thing too, is I'm part of a lot of different bourbon societies, and we do the barrel picks, and the guys that are in charge of the bourbon societies that I'm a part of, they actually go to their picks, right? So instead of getting their liquor store that gets 10 samples, 5 samples, whatever it is,
they go to the rick house.
They actually go to the rick house.
Yeah.
They go see the barrels. They pick. They actually pick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the cool thing, is that you guys are like so close and personal with that whiskey, that spirit, that you can taste it, you blend it, and then you can pair it with something that you already have, and or something that you're working on.
Yeah,
that's special. I think this is the best concept ever.
Well, and I'm curious from a philosophy standpoint, because I've seen, and if anybody's John, I know you've done this before too, where you've seen different companies have different approaches to different barrel aging when it comes to premium hand-rolled cigars. You'll see some companies where after the cigars are rolled, they'll take those finalized cigars and they'll put them into a whiskey barrel and seal it up for a predetermined amount of time or whatever. Other times you'll see a company will take some of the, maybe a particular filler leaf, and they'll take hands and stacks of that filler leaf and put those leaves in the barrel for an amount of time. In your experience, what's the best route, or does it just depend on the blend, John?
Well, it depends on how hands-on you are with it at the same time too.
Yeah.
If you're gonna barrel age leaves, you don't have to be as hands-on, because you're gonna put a limited amount of those leaves into a cigar, the finished product. So you can probably put it in there and set it and forget it for a little bit period of time. It's more tedious to do it with the finished product.
Okay.
Because you can't leave it in too long, because you can't undo what you do to it once it goes into a barrel. It can't be undone other than just through time, right? So once you barrel age the whole cigar, it takes on characteristics as the whole product.
Yeah.
So I prefer I prefer that aspect of it, and it's also more hands-on. You got to time it more appropriately. When it's ready, it's ready. If you're doing it with whole leaves, you're going to be, hey, I want these leaves to be really, take on a lot of what's in that barrel. But then you mix it with leaves that haven't had that, so you get slight characteristics from it. So the aging process of the finished product in a barrel is much more hands-on, and you've got to be very alert of what's going on, because you can't go over, because you just said you can't undo it, other than just through time. And time is money, and it takes a lot. I'll tell you, it takes a lot longer to undo if you go overboard on barrel aging a finished product than it would to actually get it to where you want it to be. So it's very hands-on. It's almost like smoking meat. You got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. That makes a lot of sense.
Tons of sense. Yeah.
One of our most loyal viewers, Tom Darling, he says, "Come to the Irish whiskey side." Tom, I love you, brother, but Irish whiskey is,
I don't think it lends itself.
Believe me, I've had a couple Irish whiskeys that I've really enjoyed, but I haven't spent as much time drinking Irish whiskeys to really know my way around that platform of whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm more of an American whiskey guy, whether it's bourbons or ryes. I drink a lot of scotches too, but the vast majority of my distilled spirits are American whiskeys. So I just don't have, and plus, when it comes to Hooten Young is, Hooten Young is an American company. It's American values, American ingenuity, American drive. And I think the Americanness of Hooten Young just screams, we got to put, products that were mashed and distilled and aged in the United States of America.
I enjoy some Irish whiskeys. What ruined Irish whiskey for me was drinking Jameson when I was younger and having bad experiences with it. So there's some really strong characteristics of Irish whiskeys that you get from all of them. It's almost for me, it's like petrol kind of is kind of what I get from it. Like for me, like with scotches, I'm not a huge fan of peat, so I don't like a lot of peaty scotches. I'm a big fan of Macallan. I love Macallan because it's not peaty at all and it's real rich. It's almost what you get out of a lot of American whiskeys, and I think that's one of the reasons why Macallan is so popular over here. Obviously, name recognition, but I've really enjoyed like Redbreast
Me too.
I've really liked Redbreast, like the Redbreast 27. I know it's super high end, and that was freaking phenomenal. I really enjoyed that. But
even the
Irish whiskey
12 is a nice whiskey.
Yeah. Irish whiskey just got ruined for me though, because I get that characteristic of a couple bad nights with JMO.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
with you.
JMO you remember for after more than you do during.
Yeah.
And Chris says hashtag all whiskey matters. Yeah, I'm with you. With you. I mean, unless that whiskey comes in a plastic bottle. If it's
a screw top.
Well, that's why originally, way back in the day, the bottle and bond happened because people were getting stuff that they shouldn't be drinking, and it was causing them to be sick, die, have issues. You didn't know what was in the bottle, bottle and bond now is very popular for the standards that behind. I mean, there's great whiskeys out there that aren't bottle and bond, but bottle and bond, part of the reason that was out there was to make sure that people knew they were drinking real bourbon.
Yeah.
They were drinking real. There was a real standard to separate for these companies that were doing it the right way, really. So, I wouldn't. There's no bottled in bond that's in plastic. I don't think
that gives you confidence that you're not drinking embalming fluid or paint thinner.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which we've all had.
Yeah,
we've all had our fair share of in back in the day.
Another quick question.
Mad Dog 2020 or buzz.
It makes me want to throw up just hearing that.
I know, just
hearing it,
just thinking about it. We can all remember that lightning blue colored Mad Dog 2020 coming out of our nose at some point in our early 20s. So at least I can.
The extra attention to the blending of the cigars and the whiskey, right? So obviously there's a lot of attention to both now, because most companies, obviously, they're just cigar companies. They're not doing both. But you guys are doing the whiskey too, and you guys are doing the bourbon, right? And the rye, all those things. So obviously, I mean, take us through a little bit of that, but obviously there's some extra attention to detail when it comes to those things too, right? So you got to really play in those both factors.
Yeah, we're really thoughtful in, and I said everything starts with a story, right? So how do you tell that story appropriately through the products that we're making and when you're enjoying them together? So we're really thoughtful with what we're picking for blends. We don't have a ton of powerhouse cigars. Our fullest body is that 2020 line, which I do consider a full-bodied cigar, but we certainly aren't making any butt kickers. Because when you're trying to pair and tell stories together, you're not looking for unbridled strength. These are moments that I said that are made to remember. So there's a lot of thoughtfulness that goes into what we make and what we're doing going forward. I'll tell you, we have 4 team meetings all week. So every day of the week except one, we have a team meeting. One's whiskey, one's marketing, one's cigars, one's merch, and we everything is connected, and it's very important. Our director of marketing, her name's Courtney Teakle. She's been with the company since it started, and she very much makes sure the brand image is very thoughtful. And then when we are creating blends for what we're going to do for whiskeys or for bourbon, and in future projects, we all work together on it. So, we head up the cigar side, but we're heavily involved in what whiskey's doing, and vice versa. Nothing goes on without the other side being involved and signing off and working on it together. So it's very thoughtful when we do it, and every part of the company is very thoughtful. We were working on the Cigar Club packaging today, and I designed it. And working with hers, I said, the sky's the limit. Whatever you want to do, let me know, tell me, and I'll make it. And we spent a lot of time making sure just fonts and things are in the right place, and
Wow.
the whole experience is really thought out from the beginning. And as I said, it all starts with a story, and I think that's why we're as thoughtful about it as we are, is because when you're telling a story, you want to tell it right. And make sure it's told consistently. And there's just a high level of consistency in what we're doing in all aspects of the business. And I think that's because everybody's very heavily involved as a team in everything that we're doing. Very rarely will you see, if ever, anything come out that we do that doesn't make sense across the whole portfolio of offerings.
That's great. I mean, when you talk about standing out, I think that really just you saying all of that particularly, that really drives me to the brand, honestly, because that attention to detail, that attention to the cigar, that attention to the whiskey, and like you said, like nothing's too overpowering, right? Everything works well together. I think this is incredible. This is a great experience.
The details that go into all the pieces that make the pieces work together.
Well, and if you're trying to grow something, I do this with my brand at Bentley as well. We're driven by taste there, and it's very similar in how we operate there as well, which lends itself into what I do here with Hooten Young. Is everything's very purposeful, everything has a reason behind it, and when you're trying to grow a brand and have longevity with it, you have to have that level of consistency because that's what keeps people coming back. You saw. You go back to brands back in the day, when Coca-Cola changed the recipe of Coke for a short time, like it was almost like a civil war happened. So it's very important to have that brand consistency and that image consistency, and have that consistency not just go from what the product looks like, but how the product actually performs, and then how you operate day to day. And that same level of connection that we have with all the products is the same connection that we have when we operate internally in the company, and that's very important to the ownership group and to all of us that are involved in that. And it really does show in the products that we do. I've not been part of something that has the continuity like this that I have in the two brands that I'm part of that I do now, and it's something that's different. And I think long term you're going to see that it's going to really it really does connect, and I'm starting to see that as in the young phases of both of these businesses, where the consumers that are connecting to this are fully connecting, and we hope that it becomes an indispensable part of what they do. If you smoke 10 cigars a week, we want a couple of them to be a Hooten Young, Bentley, and if you drink, we want you to have have a Hooten Young drink every when you're doing that too. So I think that lends itself to that, and we're seeing that in how we're connecting with the consumers.
Right. And also, I know I'm full of words here today, but I'm part of a private cigar lounge. A lot of the guys are getting around. Tons of the guys are drinking whiskey and bourbon and a lot of different spirits while we're watching sports and smoking cigars. And really, it's a no-brainer, right? So it's like you smoke a Hooten Young cigar, and they've already done the work for you. They've already put the thought into it. They've already put the detail into it, and it's great that you can just crack a bottle of this and smoke a cigar, and they already pair well together. So cheers to that.
I'm on the verge. I'm on the verge of a sneezing fit. I'll try to avoid it.
Oh, Matt, you're just like me, man. When I start sneezing, it's all over. Don't you worry. It's interesting. I'll You ever sat down and had somebody tell you a story that makes absolutely no sense? Anytime they tell you the story, there's no continuity, no consistency, right? So if we're built a brand that's based off of stories, then moments that are made to remember, what enhances that? What enhances that experience is the consistency of it, how they all connect, and making natural connections and logical connections to those things. It's almost, as I said, it's almost when somebody's talking, it's like, get to the point already. It doesn't have to be quick. I'm long-winded, but it's almost like get to the point. And with the cigars and whiskey, when you're trying to sit down and relax, we want you to be able to get down to the point and start having that moment that they said that's. I use the catchphrase. We want you to have that moment that's made to remember as quick as possible, so you can keep enjoying it.
Yeah, and I would say it, like I said, it's immediate. It's immediate that you when you drink one of these spirits today, and you smoke any one of these cigars, they really would go well together, honestly. So I love it. This has been great. It's a great experience. That's the thing. Like, life is built on experiences, and like when I go out to eat or when I go to a cigar lounge, and Matt, you are just really after it today. But the experience is working super well together. Yeah, this is great. This is wonderful. Thanks for sharing the products.
I'm okay.
I beg to differ.
All right. As I'm in the middle of this sneezing fit, I have a question for Dax and Justy.
Ooh.
Is it time?
I think it's time.
Yeah. I mean, if you quit coughing, it might be time.
Man, as a man that has the same situation that Matt's got, when I sneeze, I never sneeze once. I always sneeze 100 times, and it is vicious when it happens. So I feel your pain right now.
No, it's all right.
He needs 27 seconds.
I'll be all right. All right, is it time?
I think it's time.
It is now time for this week's
Numero de los Muertos.
All right, if I can stop sneezing for just a minute.
No.
The number.
How did somebody die? They sneezed to death.
They sneezed to death. We've
already on a cigar show.
We've already done that on the show before.
Yeah.
The number this week is 145,000 people died from
mackerel.
Excuse me.
149,000.
145.
145,000.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you obviously understand how this works.
Yeah, John, you're an old pro. You've been on the show.
Just by sneezing.
There it is.
Definitely
145,000. Is it self-inflicted?
Not self-inflicted.
Okay. U.S.
Is this on land or water?
Oh, yeah. It's in the garage.
It's both.
It's both.
And is this worldwide?
No, this took place in one particular location on the planet.
Was it one event?
One event.
On both land and water.
Yes.
Was it induced by whiskey and cigars?
It was not induced by whiskey and cigars. Natural disaster. There's another huge hint for you.
Oh, natural disaster, huh?
Not disease, not work related. A natural disaster.
Natural disaster here in the United States?
Not in the U.S. It was not in the U.S. It was not a tsunami either.
This is a one-time occurrence, correct?
One-time occurrence. One singular natural disaster.
Oh, there it is.
Hurricane.
Sorry, guys. Not a hurricane.
Tornado.
Natural disaster.
Tornado.
Keep them coming. Measles?
Not measles.
I'm going to say
not
frostbite.
Not frostbite.
We're so close.
Whew.
Ooh. He's allergic to
I
whiskey.
promise this is going to end soon. I promise.
Flood?
It was a flood.
Ooh.
All right. Flood.
We're looking for a location.
A flood in Italy.
Not Italy.
Okay.
Are we getting close? Ooh, I think we might be
European.
Not European. Excuse me.
Wuhan coronavirus in first day of Wuhan coronavirus. Oh, it wasn't a virus.
No, it was a flood.
A flood. Oh, it was a flood.
Was this Bankyo dam failure?
Nope.
No.
Ooh, that's a good guess, though. A dam failure is great.
Mm-hmm.
Was it in Japan?
I agree.
Not Japan.
Was it in Asia?
It was in Asia. Yes.
Oh, was it not? And it was a natural disaster. Was it the tsunami that hit Indonesia?
No, it was not.
Ooh, good guess.
It was a flood specifically, not caused by a not caused by a tsunami or.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it toilet flooding? So did toilets
No.
flood?
No, it's not. This was almost, not quite, but almost 100 years ago.
Whoa.
In somewhere in Asia.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of Asian history, so
if somebody can name a country.
Thailand.
Nope.
Taiwan.
Korea.
Nope.
Okay,
Japan.
here we go. Jason Pohl.
There we go.
Nope.
2004 tsunami.
Nope.
No.
It wasn't a
Almost
tsunami.
100 years ago.
It was almost 100 years ago.
1031 China flood.
Nope.
Everybody's saying China.
Yeah,
It's not
we're
China.
going to China.
It is China.
It is.
Oh,
China.
there we go.
1931.
Not 1931. Very close.
I feel like people are Googling at this point.
Yeah, it's
I've already looked it up, so I've disqualified
All right.
from the contest.
There it is.
all right. Chris Coulter, the Yangtze River flood, 1935. The Yangtze River flood in 1935 struck China during a decade of flooding. It is considered to be the fourth deadliest flood in recorded history, with a death toll of 145,000 and displacement of millions of people. As a result of the flood, millions of survivors were faced with hardship due to displacement, injury, loss of property, as well as food shortages and famine. And this was at the Yangtze River kind of runs east-west, with obvious, terrain displacements for.
Yeah, obviously, I'm a terrain expert here. Obviously.
Yeah. Obviously,
Of
but
course.
yeah, it runs east-west in China, and this it was sort of, not exactly, but it was kind of. It was sort of a later caused by, there were some floods 4 years earlier in 1931 where the Yangtze and the Yellow River in China, then suddenly they had a number of years of drought, and then after those years of drought they had like 5 straight years of very, very heavy rains, and that caused this entire valley along the run of this river to completely flood out. And of course 1931 in China, there's not a lot of options when it comes to places to go, places to get away, technology, anything like that. So unfortunately it says 1935 floods following on soon from the 1931 floods. Flood relief infrastructure, which included drainage reservoirs and floodwater channels, was soon overwhelmed.
Easily.
So they were just recovering from floods 4 years earlier in 1931. And then it primarily affected provinces of, I'm going to try to pronounce this right, Hubei, Hunan, Jiangxi, Shaohe, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang, all of which located in the middle to lower reaches of the Yangtze River. And fun fact, a company I worked for many, many years ago, all the conference rooms that we had in our corporate space were named after different rivers in the world, and one of our conference rooms was called the Yangtze Conference Room.
Okay.
So there you go. That was this week's
Numero
de los Muertos.
And that Yangtze conference room was where good ideas went to die.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Or that's where I went to have a sneezing fit.
Yeah.
Approximately once a week. So normally at this time we do our Spirit of Mystery reveal, but since we don't, really have a reveal,
We've definitely
so to
revealed
speak,
them.
we've revealed them. So we're, this week's Spirit of Mystery is, fantastic
Brought to
spirits
us by
Yeah.
Hooten Young.
from
Yeah.
Hooten Young. So very grateful for that.
Yeah, definitely listeners out there, get out there and try to get some of this Hooten Young.
Yeah,
So,
go out and buy it because
there it is. Oh, I love that. The box.
delicious.
That's sweet.
Oh, the ammo box.
Yeah.
So this is called the Ma Deuce. It's actually a patented cigar shape. Coincidentally, I've been involved in the only two companies that both have patented cigar shapes: LFD with the chisel, and then Hooten Young with the cartridge here, which is called the Ma Deuce.
Oh.
It's a 50 caliber round in an ammo box, and it was created by one of the partner's sons. He came up with this concept, and he was like, "Dad, you should talk to Norm and see if they could make a cigar that's shaped like a 50 caliber round that's plays off of the M2 machine gun, the mother of all machine guns." So that's how the Ma Deuce was born, and comes in this beautiful ammo box.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I love that.
I do too. I think that's great. Another great little Easter egg.
All right, so John, you've been on the show a number of times, and when it comes to our lightning round questions, which, by the way, lightning round brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 114-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. So yeah, John, you've had a number of these icebreaker questions before, lightning round questions before, but I got to come up with some new ones. So I've got this list of hundreds and hundreds of different questions, and one that I don't think I've asked you before. All right, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Ooh. Man, that's a tough one. This is some really underrated great superpowers. I think the most logical one that everybody gets the most answer, and I'm going to go with it, is to fly. I think flying would be epic.
Yeah,
the
certainly.
ease of going places would just be awesome. You wouldn't have to pay for gas. You could get in and out of places real easily. Flying is one that I think that's the impact it would have on my just the ease of living would be huge. Super strength is good. That's a nice one too, like super strength. The third one I would pick would be like regenerative things like Wolverine, but we saw the toll that paid on him, the psychological stuff that comes along.
Sure.
Flying would instantly enhance my life immensely. I'm a big guy. I'm relatively strong. Things are made in a way that that you can lift a lot of things, and I tend to be stronger than most, so I'm at the higher part of that. So I'm definitely 100% flying.
I like that he mentioned that it would save him money.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, there's so many ways too, not just from gas, like the efficiency of going to like the grocery store. I would just fly straight up and going straight everywhere I'd go go from point A to point B in a straight line everywhere.
Right.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
It would save me on fossil fuels.
Yeah. All right. So John, would you rather lose all of your money or all of your photographs?
Well, I've already lost all my money several times, so I'm currently doing that right now as we speak.
Yeah,
with running these businesses, and so yeah, I would rather lose all my money. I've done that. I know how to dig myself out of that hole, and the photographs are memories, man. That And the same thing with like cigars for me. I have some cigars that I have one left of that are some rare stuff. I probably have like 150 of those. And it's funny because I'll pull out one of those cigars and I remember when I bought the product, I brought the cigar, who I was with. So same way with photos. I'd rather lose all my money right now. Now, in 2 or 3 years from now, as these things continue to take off, that may be a different question. That may be a very different answer. Right now, since I'm actively doing that, money can go away. I don't need you right now.
And Justin can speak to that too, because he's gone all in on his company.
All in right
Yep.
Yep.
Sometimes,
Yeah, I'm
sometimes that's what it takes.
Yep.
Fully leveraged.
Yep. All right. So last question, John. If you could choose any person from history, or even any person alive today, or any person from history to be your best friend, who would you choose?
Wow. Best friend.
That's a great question.
That's incredible. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I've never even thought about that. That's so good.
This is like anybody.
That's so good. I thought you were going to ask me again, like who to smoke with, and I'm like, I'm trying to rack my brain of who I've answered so it's consistent. Man, best friend. Man, you've got to pick. You got to pick somebody that's kind of in control, right? So they're a good person, a positive person to be around. So I'm going to say right now, I think I would pick so active living person, someone who's dominating life really well right now. I'm going to say that guy Jesse Cole, who's the head of the Savannah Bananas. That guy is so positive. Yeah, that guy's so positive. Such a hard worker.
That's really thoughtful.
Story's incredible. Current living, I would love to be friends with that guy, man. He is the sky's the limit for him, and I'm inspired by him immensely. I mean, that's just incredible.
Cool
answer. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Jesse Cole with that one. Not living, who just for the sheer fun and just wildness of how they lived, I would say, and for cigar smoking purposes, John F. Kennedy, just to be part of the Kennedys and be friends with the Kennedy, I would think would be a really good long-term one. Because they were cool, a lot of connections. They had everything going on. So I would pick. He would be I think that would be a cool person to be friends with. But yeah, right now, I kind of feel like it's important to, when you pick friends, to have them enhance your life, right? It's almost your friends are mentors, right? And you want friends that are going to challenge you, but also drive you to go further. So yeah, I'm going with the Savannah Bananas founder right now. I want to be friends with that guy.
Those are both incredible answers, and I don't know how old you are, but those are really captivating answers.
John's 29.
Yeah. But yeah, fantastic. Wow.
I want to know, Justy, what's your answer? Any person from history could be your best friend.
Oh man, I haven't even thought about that one either.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Dax? Justy?
Man, those are freaking great answers.
I don't know. I'll be best friends with the Dalai Lama. How about that?
Okay.
That'd be good. That would give me some good alignment and balance and all the good things.
Okay.
And I just love that the whole answer too is that positiveness that they bring to your life and all those things. Man, I don't know, honestly.
The positive impact I've had from the Savannah Banana guy, and I don't even know him, has been huge. And there's a lot of things that I try to guide in my business that he does, and just his attitude and everything. He's driven by the fan. I think that's a huge thing. And I look at like how intoxicating that would be to be surrounded by it. And I have some friends that are like that, but not at that quite of a level. And I just think that guy is dominating life right now in all the right ways.
I agree. Honestly. Yeah. I did read a lot about that guy.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. That's a great answer.
All right, let's jump into this week's notable smokables. So, John, you've been through this before with us. We all name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Of course, this could be a cigar that has been on the market for decades that we tried for the first time in a very, very long time. Or this could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that we smoked for the first time ever. Obviously, John, you're smoking mostly Hooten Young and Bentley cigars, but if you get a chance to jump outside of your own portfolios, is there anything you smoked recently that stood out to you?
Yeah, I honestly, I'll give you my actual answer, but my second answer first. The one I just finished was awesome. I hadn't smoked a Solomon in a long time, and that was a test blend for the club, and I really liked it. It was excellent. It was very smooth, and it exceeded my expectations. I'm not just saying it because of but that was
Sure.
when you're smoking test blends and you're smoking things that are going to be coming out, you know what they're going to be used for. So I'm real, changes the way I look at it. But my actual answer for this was, so when my son was born, my best friend Mike, who works with me at Hooten Young and Bentley, Mike Wilson, he and I've been friends for 23 years. I'm going to be making some Bentley and Hooten Young cigars for my son, that are blue, and I've been working on, but I've just been busy. So he wanted to get something special. So he bought a box. My first box of cigars I ever bought was a My Father Le Bijou Cedros Deluxe and the Le Bijou Churchill.
Yeah, really good.
So Mike bought a box of the My Father Blue. For when my son was born. Yeah, and he brought it to the door. And he's like, I wanted to do something special. I know we got the cigars that we're making with Hooten Young and Bentley. He goes, but I want to do something special. And he goes, and you remember this was the first box of cigars we bought together. I'm like, dude, this is so awesome. So that was really special. So, and I really enjoyed it. So we had the Bentley My Father, the My Father Blue, Honduran Blue Robusto. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's a great cigar. Actually, that's a fairly new cigar now, and I've gone over that cigar like 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah,
it's really great.
Yeah, very good blend.
Yep.
Justy, what's your notable this week?
I think I had a Davidoff Maduro Robusto earlier in the week.
Oh, very nice.
You
very nice.
A lot of these Davidoffs I've heard.
Yeah, I'm kicking into them.
Yeah. I like it.
Dax, what's something you smoked recently that stood out?
So actually, I just had a friend in town from Milwaukee, and he brought me the Alma Frente, the Plasencia, but he brought me the Octagon.
Big cigar.
That strange cigar press. Yeah, but that cigar was really great.
Nice.
Actually, in that format, it was. I don't like that green version of it. I don't think it's very good, honestly, but unfortunately. But that Alma Frente, that black label, was really good in that that Octagon box press.
Very nice. Mine was kind of a classic brand. One of their, I guess it's not a new blend, but it's a newer blend for this sort of classic brand, La Roma de Cuba, the Mi Amor, which is kind of that powder blue band.
Really great.
In that Toro size, that Magnifico, they call it. Smoked that on Thursday, last week, recently, within the last week. Hadn't had that cigar, I think, since it came out, which was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah, nice,
good
really,
pick.
Really nice blend. All right, let's give our viewers and listeners an idea of what is coming up on How About That Cigar Live next week, October 13th. Pete Johnson from Tatuaje Cigars coming back onto the show. And John, if you would please give our viewers and listeners, what is the best place for them to keep up with everything going on with you and your life?
Social media is the whole representation of basically everything I do every day. Cigars, food, my family occasionally is on there, special occasions. But yeah, SOG Carney, CARNEY on Instagram is one of the best spots, and obviously here on Facebook too. But SOG Carney is the home of everything that I got going on.
Nice. And we put just to give our viewers and listeners a reminder, we put links in the comments for Hooten Young cigars and a few other nice tidbits in there. So be sure to check those out. John, again, brother, we always love having you on the show. Tonight was no exception. And thank you so much for the whiskeys and the cigars. And we look forward to seeing what you guys have in the future. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. We'll do this again with some other representations here anytime. I enjoy it, and we're very appreciative to sit and talk. And it says a lot of pride around the things I'm doing right now, and it's great to share it.
It definitely shows.
Absolutely. Keep up the good work, brother. Viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for being the absolute best part of How About That Cigar Live. We are so grateful for you guys listening and watching live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on
Rumble.
And if you're listening after the fact on the audio podcast, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're driving down the road, working out, whatever it is you do, when you listen to your favorite audio podcast. Thanks so much for doing it with How About That Cigar. Be sure to click on all of the big, beautiful buttons.
All the links.
The like button, the follow button, the subscribe button to make sure you don't miss anything we have going on with How About That Cigar. If you have questions for any of us, you can email us on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. You will find us at HBT Cigar. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. It's been a treat.
Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium cigars.